Good afternoon. Coming up on the Marketplace, official government website and revenue generation portal GHANA.GOV officially launched. The Vice President says this one-stop shop online portal will save the economy over $3 million annually.
A real weapon in the fight against demons and principalities in the public sector.
We have details on the launch. Also coming up, the increase in food and transport fares push up inflation to 7.8% for the month of June. We have details from the government statistician. Also later in the bulletin, a look into Ghana Beyond the Return, the initiative as government races to attract investment and talent from the diaspora.
But we are not just looking to see that they come over and just go back, but they have repeated visits and that they invest in Ghana, that they eat Ghana, wear Ghana, drink Ghana, everything Ghana.
And we have all these stories coming up shortly after this break. To stay. Hello and welcome. I'm Charles Aite. The official government website and revenue generation portal GHANA.GOV officially launched today. The Vice President says this one-stop shop online portal will save the economy over $3 million annually. Listen in.
For starters, GHANA.GOV is a one-stop shop to enable citizens easily access government services, simplify payments for public services, ensure prompt payments for services, and promote transparency and visibility of the internally generated funds. It is a real weapon in the fight against demons and principalities in the public sector. It is really a real weapon. So the demons will not be happy today. Instead of those who demand public services handing cash over to administrative staff, they will switch to a mobile payment system. Transactions will be recorded instantly, avoiding any bribery and corruption regarding the quoted service fee and curtailing the risk of embezzlement. We had a video where the Ministry of Tourism, the representative, was talking about how they digitize payments in places like Elmina Castle and so on. What he did not tell you was that that pilot for the Ministry of Tourism, for those centers, increased revenue by fourfold. There was a fourfold jump in revenue just by digitizing the process. So you just wonder where the cash was going. According to the 2017 Auditor General's report, inefficiencies in government's revenue collection resulted in losses of over $2 billion in 2017, with about 254 MMDAs and some 127 public organizations operating more than 2,000 physical points of services. With mostly manual processes, revenue collection is bound to have challenges. The GHANA.GOV platform consists of 4 main components: a web portal, mobile app and USSD interface, a payment processing component, a notification component, and a complaint submission medium. It is the belief of government that a single payments platform will have 3 main benefits for our economy and help us achieve our long-term goal of a Ghana Beyond Aid. First, GHANA.GOV will help grow government revenue. It is estimated that about 10 to 15% of collections are lost through inefficiencies, theft, or other accounting schemes. Going digital means that we can improve our revenue collection by an estimated 3 billion cedis annually. Also, the sheer convenience of enabling all of us to pay for government services with our mobile money, our bank accounts, our new QR code, our fintech apps on our phones, or even, through the bank's drafts and so on. The hassle of going through long queues and hopping from office to office just to make a payment for a government service will simply become a thing of the past.
Well, the Minister of Communications, Esla Osuekufo, believes that the launch of GHANA.GOV will not only deepen the country's digitalization agenda, but also feed into the achievement of the Sustainable Development Goals aimed at lifting millions of Ghanaians from poverty.
We're using technology to formalize our economy for growth and sustainable livelihoods, to modernize government processes and service delivery, drive innovation, entrepreneurship, create jobs, and transform businesses. The key pillars underpinning our digitalization include broadband and last-mile infrastructure, digital financial services, digital entrepreneurship, iHubs, economic activity and new jobs, digital platforms, the national ID, address systems, the common platform, data sharing, cybersecurity, and digital skills. Ghana must evolve quickly in response to the transformation wrought by the internet and mobile technology. And since data has become the new oil, we must integrate our systems to derive maximum benefits from machine learning, blockchain, Internet of Things, big data analytics, and other novel technologies.
Well, let's stay a little longer on matters concerning revenue generation, as the Finance Minister, Ken Ofori-Atta, has revealed that there has been significant improvement in revenue mobilization for the first half of this year. Government in 2021 budget had forecasted almost 57 billion cedis in tax revenue. According to the Finance Minister, the GRA was just short of a percentage in meeting the half-year target. Ms. Ofori-Atta tells Joy Business that this will help fast-track the economic recovery and deal with the rise in debt stock.
Unfortunately, through mid-year, I think GRA has done extremely well. They might be about 1% behind, and that's impressive because we gave them a high target of some 57 billion, and they are working towards that. With the imposition of the Ghana ID card as a replacement for TIN, we have moved from maybe 5.5 million TIN numbers to now 15.5, and that should help, you know, in terms of payment of taxes, and also the GHANA.GOV, which is going to be launched this week. Also would mean that leakages from MMDAs will reduce as people are paying digitally going forward. So I'm really hopeful about also domestic revenue mobilization to plug the gap and see how we go. But I mean, truly, if we are looking at anything like a Keynesian model of development, you know, in times like this, you do have to make a choice, whether you want to stimulate the economy so that people can get back to work with investment, or whether you are going to wait to get income before you do that. But I think our Ghanaians are entrepreneurial and productive enough that we should take the risk of funding a stimulus package that will be helpful. But as you know, it's 30% from GOG and 70% from private sector, which we are working on.
Well, let's now talk inflation, because the high rate of inflation recorded for foodstuffs and transportation pushed the inflation margin for the month of June marginally up to 0.3% to 7.8%. However, this marginal increment will not only affect cost of living that much, especially when the government statistician Professor Samuel Kobina-Ainen told journalists that despite the increase, the country continues to stay within the single-digit inflation for the past 3 months.
CPI stood at 129.2 relative to 119.8 that was recorded in the month of June 2020. Using these two CPI, we have 129.2 for the month of June 2021 and 119.8 in June 2020. This culminates in a year-on-year inflation of 7.8. What this literally means is that between June 2021 and June 2020, prices of goods and services have gone up by 7.8%. This literally means that between June 2020 and June 2021, on a year-on-year basis, prices of goods and services have gone up by 7.8%. On a month-on-month basis, that is with a CPI of 129.2 for June 2021 and a CPI for May 2021 of 127.6. Between May 2021 and June 2021, prices of goods and services have gone up by 1.3%. It will be recalled that prior to April 2021, we were recording double-digit inflation with the exception of November 2020 and January 2021, where we recorded single-digit inflation. However, from June 2020 up until now, most of our inflation figures have been in the double digits. This is the first time that since April 2020, we have in 3 months recorded successively single-digit inflation.
And we shall have more on this story in our subsequent bulletins. But away from that, to the banking industry, Ecobank Ghana and GCB Bank controlled about 23.9% of the banking industry market share in 2020. However, Zenith Bank was the best bank in Ghana last year. Charles Nixon Eboa looks at the banking sector performance review by Tessa Capital and now reports.
Ecobank Ghana and GCB Bank continue to show their dominance in the banking industry, controlling almost a quarter of the industry's deposits, whilst Ecobank led the pack with 12.4% of the market share in 2020. GCB Bank controlled about 11%. The two banks have also launched mobile money platforms similar to that of the telecommunication firms Momo, helping them to gradually grow and increase their deposits. Stanbic, Absa, Consolidated Bank Ghana, Fidelity and Standard Chartered Bank Ghana placed 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th respectively. On loans, Ecobank Ghana dominated the industry, controlling 10.4% of the assets last year. Absa, Stanbic and GCB Bank followed suit in 2nd, 3rd and 4th respectively. Meanwhile, Zenith Bank maintained its number 1 position as the best bank in financial performance for last year. Standard Chartered Bank moved into the 2nd position, whilst Ecobank, which was 2nd in 2019, and GCB Bank placed 3rd and 4th respectively. On the contrary, FBN, UMB and Prudential Bank were the least ranked banks. The rankings emanated from an assessment of the creditworthiness and performance of the banks using capital adequacy ratio, asset size, management capability, earnings and liquidity.
Still on the banking sector, the Bank of Ghana says it is taking all cybersecurity concerns into consideration as part of the development of the digital currency expected to be piloted in September this year. According to the central bank, this is a complex area which is being carefully designed to ensure that the country's financial system is not open to cyber attacks through the currency platform. The first Deputy Governor of the Central Bank, Dr. Maxwell Bokofare, disclosed in an interview that the Central Bank is involving all stakeholders to safeguard the integrity of the new currency.
Introduce the Central Bank digital currency. It is fiat money, it is cash on its own, which means it does not have to be backed by any other thing. It's just like your paper cash that you are saying that I want to keep part of it electronically, which means that you are free to take any transactions, decisions with that digital currency, similar to you do with cash or check or any other forms of payment. And that's what the central bank wants to bring into the space, then to allow all the financial technology companies, the banks, financial technology companies are the fintechs, the banks and other, to be able to create value added on the part of that digital cash. And it also shapes the area of cryptocurrency where people are looking for forms of electronic transactions and they are going to Bitcoins and other areas which are not regulated. But when the central bank brings that digital currency in the space, it creates an instrument that is regulated by the central bank and allows people to do legal business in an environment that is regulated. So that is why you realize that it is a complex area, it is a highly technical area, and it's an area that we need to watch cyber security very carefully. Because once it's digital money, if the security features are not strong, then you can have people going into creating fraudulent ones. It is for this reason why we have to take our time to design it with all the strong security features, but introduce it in a pilot phase in what we call a sandbox environment. And then a sandbox environment allows you to operate test innovations in an area where it is outside the regulated environment, so that when there are errors, it does not impact on the systemic environment. So we want to start rolling it out in a pilot phase. The Bank of Ghana already has a sandbox, which we've announced that we've introduced a sandbox. So we'll introduce the CBDC in the pilot phase in this sandbox, learn lessons, enhance it, and then once we've learned all the lessons, then we come out and open it up to the entire population.
You're still watching The Marketplace with me, Charles Aite. Well, as global COVID cases and restrictions ease, government is eyeing yet another ambitious program to attract foreign investment. This is called Beyond the Return, a follow-up of the year of return in 2019. Of course, in this particular story, we link the major players of this program, that's the Beyond the Return program, including young and promising multidisciplinary artist Oscar Mawuli Awokum, whose work of art appeals most to the diaspora. Here's more. Ghana is ready for investment. The words of government as an aggressive campaign to attract foreign capital continues. It started with a successful year of return in 2019, which saw hundreds of Ghanaians in the diaspora, including African Americans, trace their roots home. This time around, government is taking the initiative a notch higher in an ambitious program, Beyond the Return. The 10-year program has been given a legal backing through the Diaspora Engagement Policy. Akwesi Ewa Abibio is the Director of Diaspora Affairs at the Office of the President.
This engagement policy defines the framework and the operators and the agreed action plan that has to take place to enable the diaspora to be brought in as part of a partner to our development.
Great, impressive. But of course, others might also be of the view that why don't you center your energies on angel investors in Ghana, other than having to, stretch so thin to reach out to the diaspora and investment?
I think we are not saying that we are not going to reach out to the angel investors as well. These two things are not mutually exclusive. That means that you can do both. You really have an asset outside of your borders that you can reach out to. When we talk about the Ghana without aid, beyond aid, we are looking at a situation where we are looking to see some deficits in our financing, in our investments, and therefore we need to look beyond that initiative to see how we can reach out to people that have got interest in Ghana. Remember, they are Ghanaians. They happen to just be outside of the borders of the country. And for the historical Africans, for those who are showing interest in coming back to Africa, they present an opportunity, a potential to tap into. So I see those two things working together. The angels aspect of reaching out to, partners and working with them is all, in the same bowl. And we are looking to, have a nice soup.
The coronavirus has had a toll on tourism. Ghana is no exception, as the tourism sector lost billions of cedis to the pandemic. Akwesi Abibio says there is a plan to deepen interest.
This ending of this month will be the beginning of Panafest. We are again expecting people to start streaming in, gradually. It looks like once travel restrictions have been lifted in the U.S., and we also have a very good record of our management of the COVID, people have got the confidence that they should be coming back to us, and that we should also be putting in the measures that will enable us to contain any future outbreak. That is the key thing for us. With the meeting of the management of the COVID team on a regular basis to assess the situation and to review what has to be done, we have every confidence that we can manage going forward. Of course, that's what we are all aiming at, to bring them back anyway. So,
but do you have a plan?
Yeah, that is what we are talking about there. This whole diaspora engagement policy is, and part of this Beyond the Return is to fashion out some concrete plans that will deal with these issues.
As government embarks on an ambitious Beyond the Return initiative to woo diaspora investment, a Ghanaian in the diaspora, Francis Flair, who is a customer service specialist based in the U.S., says the success of this program rests on how strict and impressive customer service will be in the country. I sat with him for a discussion on customer service through the eyes of the diaspora.
It's only in Ghana the business thing they do in the customer a favor, But if you are there for the customer, you care about them, they will even care about you more, right? I know customers who just come in to do business because they knew the business was struggling. They want the business to be around when this was over. So yes, they may not have laid off employees as much as they did, but customers are going to do whatever it takes to keep the brands they love. And that's why you have to be looking for loyalty, not satisfaction.
Great. So I want us to end this discussion on a broad perspective. Once again, Beyond the Return happens this year, and it's into somewhere next year.
Yes.
And with that comes the pressure on government to, as you rightly stated, maintain the standards that saw the Year of Return successful. From your perspective as a customer service professional, so what instruments should government use to ensure that we're not just bringing in diaspora investment, but we're also keeping them in the medium to long term? I want you to speak to the national, pressures of customer service.
Yes, I think we need to start focusing on the customer. We need to remember who the boss is at the end of the day. It's not the businesses, it's not the government, it's the people who come in to spend money with us, right? The people who keep the business going. And so in order to move forward and to make sure that we have the people coming back, recommending and referring us to their friends and family to keep this economy going, we need to make sure that we are focusing on them and doing whatever it takes to make them happy.
How can we make them happy?
Well, you listen to them and you make sure that you systematize those standards, right? It cannot be one of those things like flavor of the month, right? We just did it for this time alone. Because what is going to happen is the message gets out, they come back, it's not the same, and then they go back and say a different thing, and then we lose it all at the end of the day. So it's important that we are systematizing those standards, but that is going to take some time. Are we ready for that? I don't know. Do we know how to do that? I don't know. Are we willing to invest in it? I don't know. I mean, that's a question for every business to answer. If this is important to you, if it's about your primary aim of acquiring and retaining customers, then I think that should be very, very important to you as a business.
What I mostly do is appropriate inspirations from the Ewa and Asante Kente cloth and also the spider's web, where I've used in the Edinkra symbology and my own traditional patterns and symbols, which I call anansinism. So it is this process that I appropriate on a human skin. I paint on a human skin actually, and with the knowledge behind that is I want to preserve all the collective knowledge and wisdom by our ancestors due to the gradual evolution of our contemporary culture, because each and every day we are still actually getting new inspiration from different cultures, and we tend to forget our previous traditions and all that. So I just want to keep all that knowledge. And
Oscar Mawuli Awuku is an upcoming disciplinary artist whose works have high demand in the diaspora. Being an expressionist artist, Mawuli details how economic paths for the industry will be created through the Beyond the Return program.
The Beyond the Return should throw more light to artisans or artists on the continent, because it shouldn't purposely be about the cultural performances, but if artists are given a chance to actually perform, because performance actually cuts across all aspects of the arts. So if we are given a chance to actually perform, it's going to bring out a great excitement to not only the cultural sector in the arts industry.
The tourism minister, Mohammed Awal, is upbeat about the prospects of this initiative.
We've launched the Beyond the Return program. The last couple of days, we're expecting 250,000 people from around the world, and they will come here. General Manager, let us keep that extraordinary Ghanaian hospitality. Let us train our people. Let us make sure that Ghana becomes the most valuable brand in Africa. So that over the next 10 years, we would say that we will contribute a lot to making Ghana an invaluable contribution to tourism in Africa. We want to eat Ghana, we want to sell Ghana. As a ministry, as governments, we embarked on a domestic tourism drive to bring a lot of people, Ghanaians, to go around. I want to urge you and to entreat you that help us get Ghanaians to move around.
Close to $3 billion was gained from the Year of Return in 2019. Amid the coronavirus pandemic, Akwesi Ewia Abebio is hopeful the 10-year beyond the return will rake in triple what was gained in 2019.
I'm excited that we have the opportunity to do this once more for the next 10 years, and that we have a team in place and that we are going to be engaging the diaspora programs that will really excite them to come over. But we are not just looking to see that they come over and just go back, but they have repeated visits and that they invest in Ghana, that they eat Ghana, wear Ghana, you know, drink Ghana, everything Ghana continues to be the agenda. I think with our current level of development, with us remaining, you know, the best place to invest in Africa, not just in Africa, possibly with the best growth of, you know, our economy, we provide opportunities for investors to have a look at what we are doing and to be part of it. With all the discoveries that we are making in our lithium, you know, fields and in our oil fields, and with the vast sector of the agricultural land that is begging for us to fully utilize it, with all the technologies that are available that are going to enable the diaspora to do virtual farming, we are entreating the people in the diaspora to be part and parcel of this forward journey.
For Joy Business, I'm Charles Aite reporting. And of course, that's how we also end this edition of The Marketplace. For more news, do log on to myjoyonline.com/business, where you get all the development stories, including what you just watched, Beyond the Return, you know, in clear detail. And of course, for that reason, we thank you once again for watching and enjoy the rest of our programs.